Hello and welcome to the Comic-spiracy, episode 172 for the week of August 25th, 2014. My name is Ryan Higgins, who is here with me this week.
Brock Sager.
Lane, lean like way in and say hello.
I got a chance to say his name.
Lane is here.
Hello, Lane. Welcome back, Lane. Who else is there?
Omar.
And we have a special guest this week, a listener from the great state of Los Angeles. Want to introduce yourself and say hello?
Hi, I'm Kevin, and I'm from Southern California, land of the batshit insane.
Yes.
Go
yes.
Lakers!
See, no, I told him earlier that, like all true Northern Californians, we believe Los Angeles goes from 5 minutes south of San Luis Obispo to 5 minutes north of San Diego, right? Isn't that what real Northern Californians think of L.A.? Now, now you got to learn the hard lesson of Sunnyvale, San Jose, and San Francisco are nowhere near each other when coming up to the Bay Area. So a common problem we've had with people, so...
Yeah, I went on Google Maps before I got here. I'm like, okay, now I know what to do.
Oh, good. We're glad you're here. So you listen to this podcast?
Yes, I do.
Do you read comic books?
Yes.
That's good. Because if you didn't, I'd wonder why you listen to this podcast.
And my boy here drinks some beer.
Yeah. Well, but it's it's all the British beer that I like, right? So
It's all GMO though.
Yeah.
Take it.
So with your comic reading, we like to do something I'm sure you know. We like to do secret origins of people that have been on the podcast for the first time. So why don't you give us a quick little intro about your life as a comic reader? Do you like the movies? You get into when you were younger? Kind of walk us through.
All right, when I was younger, I really couldn't read all that well, so I would look through the pictures with my friends who were able to read them. Because I looked through the pictures, because word bubbles were difficult for me for a while. So it wasn't until I started reading Calvin and Hobbes that I started actually getting the word bubbles right. And then by the time that happened, I was looking around. I'm like, okay, at that time, comic book shops were like closing, and I really couldn't find any. So I would just like watch the cartoons, the movies. I would find a book here and there, and then in my where I used to live, the downtown area had an antique shop, so they would have like back issues. So I would pick those up, and then I moved out of there. I moved to the Inland Empire, which if you've ever heard of them, don't go there.
So this is all L.A., right? You were in L.A. this whole time?
Yeah, I was in L.A. I'm born and raised in
Greater Southern California area.
I was born in the San Gabriel Valley, which is where Pasadena is.
Right.
And Glendora. And then I moved to the Inland Empire. And one of my friends told me about this place called Frankensons. And so I would go down there, pick up comics, new comics. And then that's how I pretty much got into it. Found a comic book shop.
Real quick, Frankensons for people that don't know. Omar, have you actually ever been there? I've never been. I feel like you've been there.
I have. I went through there, but I didn't get to spend a lot of time there and shop much.
Yeah.
I call it the geek swap meet.
It is. It's a big... I mean, I've never been there, but I know all about it. It's a big weekly...
Bi-weekly.
Oh, is it bi-weekly?
Yeah.
That is weekly.
No, it's open on Saturdays. That's like the main days, and it's open on Sundays.
Yeah.
Or not Sundays, Wednesdays.
Yeah, but like it's like a big swap meet,
Yeah.
dirt mall type.
Yeah, they have like card tournaments and Hero Click tournaments probably there now. They have you can buy anime there, like the bootleg ones, comic books. They have a sports section too, so I would pick up some sports stuff I like. That's pretty much what it is. Like just a couple old school video games.
Yeah, it's like a mini convention, really.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah,
it's got like 20 dealers. So.
It's more than 20 dealers.
More now, probably.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's been a while since I've been there.
Yeah.
So is that? You still mostly get your books there? Do you have another shop you go to now? Or?
Yeah, I have a comic book shop in Rancho Cucamonga I go to.
What's it called?
Four Colors Fantasies.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, they're awesome. There.
What are you reading these days?
I'm more of a Marvel guy, so I read Spider-Man. I'm reading X Factor because I like Gambit.
Toby would be proud of you here.
And Bryce.
Oh, I should say Toby and Charlie, for those if they're wondering where they are at a not live screening of the Doctor Who season premiere, so they'll be back next week.
So I picked up New Warriors because of you. So
hell yeah!
I like it. I mean, it's good. And
well, it's got Scarlet Spider in it.
Yeah, so Scarlet Spider. He's got like great one-liners in there. Reading Thor. What else? That's all I can remember from the Marvel side. And then on the DC side is Batman, Batman Eternal, Futures, and Suicide Squad, Green Arrow.
Cool.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to add Southern Bastards when I get back.
Cool. Are you? Do you like a lot of the movies? Do you usually go see most of those? Or?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Like, I love all the Marvel movies.
Yep.
Well, Marvel Studios movies.
Sure. Where do you stand? Green Lantern movie.
Oh,
be
Jesus
careful because I have a mute button here. So just where do you stand?
Don't let him intimidate you at all with a mute button.
I'm a big
Honest
Green Lantern
opinion.
fan, and I'm sitting in the seat of the biggest Green Lantern fan, and you probably say the same thing.
Okay, I found it entertaining.
Okay.
I found it fun. I did like it.
Okay.
Is it a great movie? Sorry, but no.
Okay,
But
that's
it
fine.
it is a good movie. It's a good kids movie as well.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I'm only mute.
That Hot Wheels toy was pretty dope.
No,
I almost got that for one of my little nephews.
All right. Thank you for telling us some of your comics. That's good stuff. And we've got a couple quick news things, a bunch of Twitter questions. Omar was at the Japan Expo. Lane, I want to talk to you because you were at Comic-Con.
He was
Brock's,
actually at Comic-Con, like
Yeah.
in the convention.
Brock's got his Dead Body Road book. We
Yes.
got a shitload of stuff to talk about here. So let's real quick hit a couple quick news things before we get into the rest of this. But the big one for this week, as everyone's probably heard, Action Comics #1, graded 9.0.
White pages.
The highest graded known in public eye copy. There are believed to be higher known copies, but
Incredibles.
super private owners. Sold for $3,207,852.
52?
Sold to the Metropolis / Comic Connect, who are the auction house for most high grade comics. So an auction house bought a comic on auction. I'm assuming they're just going to put it aside for a couple of years and auction it themselves, I guess. So
Don't they also broker for people?
Right.
So, I mean, they could have been representing a buyer.
It could have been,
So.
but no, I think they bought it themselves. So
Greedy bastards.
we now have a new, 1 million was kind of the previous high number. Went up to 2 million a couple of years ago with the Nick Cage copy of Action Comics #1. Now we're at 3.2 million. So
Was that known to be in,
this copy was,
so
this
it
was a
already,
known
in the
copy.
database and shit?
Yeah, there have been other copies that are in kind of private hands right now that not a lot of people know about. So, but this is the known one. Yeah,
How was it preserved though?
very well.
Yeah,
It was in. I believe this is the one from the 70s, and it went through some private ownership for a few years. But they basically had it in a. If this is the one I'm thinking of, they had it just in a drawer with a bunch of other books, just well pressed in between other titles.
It was on the. If you watch the video that they have on the actual auction listing, it said it was kept in a cedar chest in a like ideal. Like temperature,
Good weather conditions.
Good weather
Yeah.
conditions.
Yeah.
And so like this, and it when they took it out of the cedar chest, it ended up with somebody for like almost 30 years.
Yeah.
And then it moved her hands around a little bit, but no. And then we got it. CGC got it.
So that is our big one. So cue more stupid articles about how you may have millions of dollars of comics in your mom's basement. You don't.
Cue more phone calls saying, "I got a copy of Action Comics #1," and it's like one of the 50 bajillion reprints.
Right. DC announced a big bunch of upcoming trade paperbacks and collections they got coming out. Some notable ones here. There's a Neil Adams omnibus, which collects most or all his Batman material.
Is that going to have the Ra's al Ghul stuff?
Yeah.
Oh,
So the problem here, though, is DC a couple years ago put out all these Neil Adams Batman hardcovers, but they're all recolored by Neil Adams, and they look like shit. So if this is the original versions, awesome. If these are the recolor, pass completely. They're awful looking.
Okay.
They're terrible. It's
Yeah, I think
just
you
bad.
remember you showing me those, and they were pretty bad.
They were bad, yeah. Jeff Johns is getting a double dose here of the JSA Omnibus Volume 3. Very stoked about that. And, of course, Volume 2 of Green Lantern Omnibus, including all the Blackest Night stuff. So
Sickness.
I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, I need to figure out. I think I need to try and get that JSA stuff. I haven't gotten it yet.
That's good. And I think this is actually one of the biggest ones. They're doing the Complete Wonder Woman by George Perez. which is Winter 24 plus annual number 1. Very happy about that.
I know you have one sale on that.
Yeah. I'm a very big Wonder Woman fan here. So, yeah, some cool stuff here. So, it's just worth talking about those guys. Now for the sad news of the week. Gonna pour one out for my homies, the New Warriors, as their classic...
So we're going to skip the Twitter questions now.
As their classic 5th volume canceled after only 12
Could
issues.
you even count like one of those as an actual volume? Like it was only like 6 issues.
Yeah, well, we have a new hashtag, which is 6 volumes in a movie. Okay? So that is the hashtag for the New Warriors. We now need 6 volumes and a movie for the New Warriors to finally be successful. This is what it's going to take. So
maybe Yahoo will pick it up.
Get Dan Harmon on it, and Yahoo can publish the 6th volume of the New Warriors, and then they'll make a movie. It'll be perfect. Oh, my boys, you guys are too beautiful for this world. It was a good volume. I actually, and you, Kevin, you said you read it. Had you read any of the previous stuff, or you just grabbed this on a whim?
No, I just grabbed this. I'm like, New Warriors? All right. Yeah, I know you read it and rave about it all the time. So I was like, okay, I'll pick it up. And I like Chris Yost. I mean, I haven't read much of his X-Men stuff, but because I'm a fan of the Avengers cartoon, the old one, or the second old one, or whatever, which one it was. And I know he wrote a lot of good episodes on there. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'll read it. And I do enjoy it. I mean, Scarlet Spider has a lot of great one-liners in there. And... yeah, I mean, I was kind of on the fence. Should I keep it or not?
Yeah.
Because, like, money issues as well. But since it's going to be until November, I might as well just stay on with it.
Well, no one else is reading it, so if you drop it now, no one's going to care.
I haven't. I've read it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. It's the second best volume of the New Warriors that they've ever had. That's the scary part.
You know what? I actually enjoyed that New Warriors where it was, like, the depowered one. Around the time of the initiative, like I actually didn't mind that.
You and
one.
Toby both liked that with all the X-Men.
I didn't mind it so much. I mean, I know
it's not the New Warriors.
It wasn't truly the New Warriors, but I mean, the Outsiders have had the same thing where it's not necessarily a real outsider.
No, it's not the New Warriors. Sorry, Toby.
Didn't you predict 12 issues too?
Oh, they are all 12 or 18. Sure, it's always 12
You
or
were
18.
lucky. You were lucky that it made it that far, okay?
Hey, I get my two trade paperbacks.
They probably did it because of this store. Because you have like fucking 1,000 of the books in the back.
It is the New Warriors is tied for 3rd worst selling comic in the store. So yeah,
it's only because you buy too many of them.
Yeah. No, the funniest part about the New Warriors is like when issue 1 came out, because you didn't because you're obviously not going to order as many for the store because it's not going to sell.
Yeah, I know.
You were scrambling to try and get those variant covers.
I tracked them all down. I think I need to find the variant for number 3. Maybe there's one that I did miss, or maybe I actually picked it up because they canceled the variants on those real fast. Yeah. There was actually a second print for number 1, and they canceled the second print.
Damn it.
Yep,
they could have at least had one sale in you.
Yep, they didn't. Yeah. I guess that one sale was not enough to make it worthwhile printing. So, Lane. So I mean, there's not too much news this week. So I mean, Omar.
Hi.
Let's talk about this, man. This seems up your alley.
Right, that's all he wants to do is troll.
I want unfiltered Omar greatness with this.
What?
Because man, this Spider-Woman bullshit.
Dude, it's funny shit, though, actually, that it's even a conversation.
Yeah.
Because, really, there's way more covers I can pick out from the wall that is far beyond that.
Let's throw a little backstory.
Wait, first of all, does everybody out there know in the world of comics who Spider-Woman is?
No.
She is a representation of a 70s sexploitation character that represents everything of sexploitation 70s women. She's a trifling ass hoe, double, triple, second, triple, quadruple agent. Just like Black Widow, she has fucking superpowers. Guess her superpowers is she has pheromones to fucking control you sexually. Okay, for anybody that thinks for a minute that a variant cover is going to have it be some fucking animated character by one of your cheesy little cartoon spin rack artists is fucking wrong, because the origins of this character is she's a trifling ass hoe. And for anybody that doesn't know it and get it, come and see me.
Let's back this up a little bit here, okay? More ways than one. So, Spider-Woman, all right? New series announcement.
I like the new gritty version of Higgins.
Thank you.
After this operation, man, you're just like unhinged.
So New Spider-Woman comic announced it during the Women of Comics panel at Comic-Con. And they basically said, hey, we're going to have this new Spider-Woman comic come out and everything. Okay. So for most Marvel books, they have a 1 in 100 variant cover by Milo Manara, which if you're not familiar with him, he's an Italian artist from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today. He's been working in comics forever.
Highly influential.
Oh, huge.
If it wasn't for that dude, there would be many people like one of my favorite artists ever of all time, Gil March, who's also on that level.
Yeah.
Spanish kid, does Playboy erotica art, and was picked up by DC exclusively. No one even knew who the fuck he was.
Milo Manara, one of the most influential and important comic illustrators in Europe. I mean, influenced millions and millions of people. You know, his books have sold hundreds of millions of copies worldwide. That may be a bit of an exaggeration, but maybe not. I actually don't know. I mean, he's done so much work,
He's
right?
huge. I forgot how OG this motherfucker is.
No, he's been working since the 60s. I mean, this guy could be there with Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, except he was doing erotica stuff in the 60s. And again, super influential, super famous.
I would if I was in Italy, by the way.
And in his elder years, Marvel calls him up a few years ago and says, hey, we want you to do some work for us. We want you to do some kind of sexy covers for our female characters. And he's like, all right, sure. So he's done a bunch of these. He did a Women of X-Men comic, and he did a bunch of stuff, right? And you could tell, I mean, his art's not what it was, but he's still, like a lot of these guys. I mean, his art blows away most of these guys that do art these days, like the old-timers that are still doing comic work. So
Neil Adams.
Yeah. So he does,
No one's naming names.
Another 1 in 100 variant that's going to sell 4 copies because it's a fucking Spider-Woman comic and no one cares about Spider-Woman. And he does a variant, and the variant has a slightly more suggested pose. A lot of people are complaining about the ass features of this, but if you go back and look at all these 1 in 100 variants he's done for Marvel, they're all sexy or sexualized in some fashion, just like every other piece of artwork he's ever done in his entire life.
Can I tell you that the thing that I woke up to that morning, and I posted on your on the Geekbox forum, was I woke up to the Spider-Woman comic book cover by Monero, and I was like, oh, this is fucking incredible. And then I woke up to the Anaconda video by Nicki Minaj, and I was like, holy shit, how incredible is it that these two worlds have just been combined?
They just cast her. I mean, she's going to be Spider-Woman.
Done.
So the second I saw this cover, I was like, oh my god, people are going to flip out over this cover, and on cue, this happened. And
Mary Sue.
Everyone.
Well, no, Mary Sue was one of the last ones to pick it up. They just let it boil and let it grow, because you knew that they're going to have their conversation on it. I was actually surprised by people like Ion9 and a few others that never really jumped on this talk before. I guess they're doing it just to show that they're feminists because they're afraid that Jones is going to come to their door, start stepping on them with her stilettos or something. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, where was the outrage for the other 15 covers he did? Where has been the outrage from the 60s for all this other work he's done? I mean, it feels like this same typical fake outrage that happens every time.
Same thing that happened with the Gillian March Catwoman Zero cover.
Yeah,
everyone freaked out about the disproportion and then her ass and all this. It's like Birds of Prey 33 has Black Canary trying to kick Amanda Waller, and you literally get a coochie shot the whole fucking time, right there.
Yeah, there's all sorts of nonsense in comics, and if you bought comics to be realistic, you really need to rethink of why you buy comics. So,
but in all honesty, this is the reality. All right, like I opened up with this whole Spider-Woman Monera cover. The reality is that's probably one of the most, when you look at comic book covers, at least I do. I know a lot of people do, and they pick up the book because of the cover, and that's the primary real estate. That's probably one of the most reflective Spider-Woman covers that's come out in a long, long time, because she is a trifling asshole, and that's just the way it is.
She's ready for her backdoor action.
No, I mean, I'm not going to go there, but I'm saying that she was created in the 70s as a spin-off Spider-Man character, and she had the long hair going on and everything. Everything in the 70s, there was a lot of it was exploitation or sexploitation, blaxploitation.
Her whole costume is just, straight form. I mean, it's you're coloring it. If you didn't,
I don't know, Lane. Why don't you tell me that as an artist, from an artist perspective, what's the one color of Spider-Woman on her costume that's not red?
black. I don't know.
Her titties, yeah, her titties. Exactly. Good answer, Lane.
I may want to get this now.
Yes.
Well, and the funny thing is, this is a 1 in 100 variant that, like I said earlier, literally 4 stores will order because no one cares about this comic, and it's something that's not going to show up anywhere. I'm so sick of this. I like talking about it, and I like making fun of people that think it's a big deal.
Hey,
and
maybe Loot Crate will order enough.
Yeah, maybe.
My question is she tied to the Sony deal then?
I'm going to assume, yeah. I'm assuming all those Spider characters are part of it, yeah.
Now, isn't there a Jessica Jones Pulse Complete Collection coming out this week?
Well, hey, just in case anyone forgets, in the first issue of Alias, she has anal sex with Luke Cage. So just remember that this happens, okay?
And just so you guys know, anal sex has been around for a long, long, long time.
Yeah.
Longer than comics. The first comic was ever created.
Yeah. So if you want your,
it was one of the first artistic porn.
if you want this PG version of what you think comics are, don't buy Alias. Don't buy any of them because they're all about beheading and they're all about sexy spray-on costumes, male and female. They're all about killing people left and right. They're all about the craziest shit ever. That's comics. Like every time this happens, it's like it's sadder than the last. And I don't get it. I never
need to
get
go back
it.
and read Alias now.
Yeah.
Me too.
So, Lane,
I knew Luke Cage.
scoot up a
liked
bit.
doing it, but-
Get right up in that mic. You're going to talk for a few minutes.
Wait,
here.
did I even talk about Japan Expo at all?
No, you'll
We'll do Comic Con. We'll do Comic Con first.
Comic-Con first.
And then we'll do
Yeah,
Japan Expo. Yeah.
Okay.
We've heard enough about.
People have been delayed of the actual indoor experience.
We've
of
heard enough
Comic-Con.
about sexualization of women. We'll do Comic Con first and then Japan Expo.
Okay, perfect. Oh, that's why I was there.
So,
Yeah, we'll get back to it at yours.
so we had Toby talk to us last week about Comic Con. I want to hear your take because you probably had a bit of a different take than Toby did.
Actually, ironically, I felt like I did Toby's job this year and everybody else's last year.
So you're kind of like the big toy guy going down there. So what's your
Well, this
what's
year,
that
normally
like?
I'm not. Normally, I'm an art guy, but this year, yeah, less art. So was looking for toys
Yeah.
to help out people and random stuff like that.
What was your?
We were trying, same lines like Toby, like the Legos,
Yeah.
Blizzard, Funko.
Now, you scored quite a bit of stuff though. You had kind of I think you had a route planned, right? I mean, you knew where you were going.
Yeah, well, it's more like I had 5 backup plans, and I almost got to all my backups.
Yeah. So just whatever you could get to.
the first 2 never worked out.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
bullshit.
This year compared to previous years, kind of what's your take?
A lot more.
Is it more organized, less organized? Kind
Organized,
of the
it was great. The problem is there are a lot more exhibitors trying to take advantage of getting in early just to
Of
get the
course.
exclusives. And they were everywhere this year. Like it felt like there are more exhibitor badges than regular badges just because there's so many in there.
Well, I think you could buy 5 exhibitor badges per table. Is
yeah.
that right?
I think that's right.
I think it was 5. But you had to pay for them. You can't just get. I mean,
Right.
It
Well,
used
you
to
get,
be.
I think 2 free, and you pay for 3 more. I think.
Okay.
But it just felt like there was a lot in like. I heard a rumor that they actually got caught this year, so there's a rumor that it will change next year. Supposedly, the Lego line. Lego found out about what they were doing, notified Comic-Con, and Comic-Con had staff watching it on the last day.
Just stocking.
I love
line
it.
with retailers or.
Yeah, no, supposedly they had people watching the line as people as they came in and watched them as they swapped their badges for exhibitor to regular attendee.
Oh, okay.
So there's talk that there may do something to change that policy for next year. I don't know if that's true or
Hopefully.
not, but
Hopefully.
yeah, that'd be a nice change.
Yeah.
I got something perfect. Hole punch. Dunk.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one too. I mean, Hasbro does that already.
Yeah.
They stamp the back of your badge. A couple others do that.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't stop people from, like, the Funko one was the worst, where the exhibitors got in on preview night, turned around, had the stuff on sale still at preview night at their booth.
Oh, Jesus.
There were at least
After-
5 booths doing that.
After it sold out immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So stupid.
Yeah, and there were riots in the booth and stuff.
Well, you
constantly.
told me that the Funko booth Like literally riots. People getting knocked over, people getting pushed over. What were you there for that, or you just hear about that?
Well, I was, because the way it just completely, cluttered up fast. So they told us, just come back at in a half an hour, and we'll maybe let you in.
Yeah.
Then he would, but then it changed to, I'm just randomly letting people in. So if I feel like it, I'll let someone in.
Oh God.
And so people just constantly just hung out in front, which just created a worse case where now you have a bunch of about 300 people not moving, trying to get in, but the con guys are telling everybody to keep moving.
Yeah.
Then you have people inside the booth and inside the line yelling at each other because the one I saw on preview night when I was there, as I walked by, when they were all dealers, of course. So the dealers were inside the booth, and they were trying to buy everything. I heard a couple of dealers complaining that there was a limit of one. You can only buy one of everything, or one of each exclusive.
Right.
Which, for most of us, we were told that ahead of time. But the dealers didn't know that, and so they were complaining that they should be able to buy more. And so a couple of them were trying to.
But if they have 4 or 5 people in line, each buying one each, right? I mean,
yeah. Well, they were trying to complain, so they were trying to hold a mini protest by staying in the booth because they only let in 10 people into the booth at a time.
Jesus.
So then the other dealers that were in the line were complaining that the dealers in the booth were taking too long and to kick them out. And they were rioting in the lines. They started yelling and started pushing each other, trying to get to the blind people.
All this for really
just for toys, yeah.
But you even think about it though. The amount of money to go down there, the amount of money for a table, you have to get extra tickets for all the rest of your employees, 5-6 days of hotels, flight, get all your stuff down there. To what? To spend $20 on a toy you're going to sell for $100? Is that worth $80? I mean, I'm sure $80 times, across the board. I'm sure you make some money, but is all this hassle worth? I mean, if you have a booth down there, you're easily spending 10 to 20 grand. Easy. Are they clearing 40, 50 grand to make it worthwhile? On top of everything else?
Probably. I mean, with the Funko alone, Funko had 84 exclusives in that booth.
But they were box sets of stuff too, right? Like the blind pack stuff.
But I mean, if you just buy one of everything, you're buying 84 things that most people are flipping for about 4 times the price. So you take 4 times 84.
Yeah,
that's on average how much they're making every time they get through there.
Yeah,
and that's just Funko.
Yeah, and that's just one booth.
And then Lego.
I'm so glad I'm not into Funko.
Although surprisingly, the funny part is majority of the Funko stuff it was made available elsewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they made a deal. So Barnes & Noble had 5 exclusives from the con actually available throughout the world.
Oh, wow.
At all the Barnes & Nobles. And then Hot Topic got a bunch, and a bunch of other stores got some.
That's smart. That's smart business.
So it was a little weird.
I mean, we'll probably get some at some point, because normally they trickle down some of the...
Yeah, they start, as they start running out, they start just hiding them in shipments, yeah.
Kevin, you ever been to Comic-Con or any of the bigger cons outside Frank & Sons?
No, I've never been to any con.
Do you want to go to Comic-Con? A lot of people just straight up don't want to go anymore.
So I have also a question: Is there a group of people, a bigger group of people that just go to Comic-Con and just not go into the convention center at all, just do all the stuff outside?
Yeah, Toby, he was here last week. Yeah,
okay.
A lot of people actually do that.
He actually goes for inside stuff, but there's a lot of outside stuff that you can do.
Yeah, because I really wanted to do that Assassin's Creed, and then the Borderlands laser tag. That sounded like really fun. I'm pretty sure the Walking Dead thing sounds fun as well. So I was thinking next year, just go down there and just do all the outside stuff, fuck the inside.
Yeah, you don't need a ticket for any of that stuff. Just walk on out.
And another thing, too, Kevin, I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but there's something called Nerd HQ, and that's kind of like the con outside of the con, which is actually rivaled. And some of the panels are actually replicated, or you have bigger talent at Nerd HQ. You pay like $25 to $35 depending on who the talent is, but it's more intimate, much more intimate than like a Hall H, but with the same kind of stars from a Hall H.
Really vigilant.
Yeah.
Yeah. On average, the panels sold out in 2.5 minutes every time.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I take that back. I did go to Anime Expo, the LA Anime Expo in 2008.
Oh, cool.
Well,
Yeah.
There you go. Your geek credit has just been punched again.
08 would have been a big. That seems like around the time AX was huge. I mean, it's probably even bigger now. It seems like it's bigger every year. But
David Hayter was there. Like I only went there for
Yeah.
2 days, and I saw David Hayter, which is voice of Snake.
Yeah.
Stuff like
I was
that.
there that year.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to go, and just also because just to check.
How the hell do you know who David Hayter is? You're like a little boy. What the fuck?
I am 30 years old.
Ah, shit. You're not one of those faces, though, man. Don't show me your ID, dude. It's all
Okay.
good. It's all good. Good for you. Wow.
I may look 16, but I'm 30 years old.
Okay,
Omar's
right
the
on.
old man of the group.
God
so.
damn it.
Yeah, the gray hair is just sticking
Yeah.
out right
I know,
here.
man. I needed to get a haircut. I should have got a fucking haircut before I went to
Hey, you know what you need?
JX
Just
this
for
weekend.
men. Just
Yeah.
for men. Comb in.
So, Comic-Con's Comic-Con then, huh? Sounds about
Yeah,
right.
I mean, yeah, I ended up leaving early almost every day just to beat the crowds, and
Yeah.
This is exhausting, though, too, right?
yeah. Although because I was doing more toys, I actually, like I said, the plan C, D, E, F were successful, so I also was running back and forth a lot more than I usually do. But yeah, I mean, I had a good time at least saying hi to everybody. Like this is the same people, like Toby said, like the Wallstorm guys, Lord Mesa, saying hi to like Brittany Lee and Dustin Nguyen and Philip Tan.
Awesome.
So it's more about that too, I think, like getting to just hang out and talk to them, see what's happening and what's happened.
For sure.
You pay money to hang out with people. That's awesome.
No, I remember the last time I saw I think it was Phil Tan, and we were like me and Toby. This was 2009. We were super drunk, and we just got all hyped up because we just met up with what's that chick? Asian chick from Hawaii, and she's
Oh, I thought it was Nikita.
Nikita. Yeah. Okay, but she's not from Hawaii.
No.
was she? No, she went to high school in Hawaii.
Oh,
Yes.
Maggie Q.
Yes, Maggie Q. And we were all hyped, and we met up with her, and then we're like, oh, fuck this shit, let's go in the pool, it's hot. And we thought we saw a shitload of girls, and we like ran up, and it was just a bunch of kids. And then Phil was like, what are you guys doing? You're going to jump in a pool with a bunch of kids? I was like, no. We were just like, it was horrible. Anyways, sorry.
Well, I want to hear about Japan Expo. So.
Japan Expo is cool. I mean,
late. Anything else? I mean, sorry. Any last comment? We've talked Comic-Con to death, but yeah, if you've got any last.
If anybody missed anything, all the panels are online, so it's fun going through those afterwards. The con itself, like I said, it's actually pretty smooth as far as like the lines this year. Besides the people taking advantage stuff,
Yeah,
but I mean
yeah,
everything else was pretty smooth this year. So it's actually kind of.
was it like the largest ever? Because I heard that the gas lamp, like people were actually trying to like keep people out of that main area, congestion
Oh, I wouldn't
wise.
be surprised. There were a lot of people, and there were so many
Just because
events
the outside of the
outside.
con, right?
Yeah.
Because the number I last heard, I'm not sure if they were counting it, because you can count attendance numbers in a building, but it's very difficult to do if it's outside.
Yeah.
But the number I heard was around 650,000.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, like the Geek and Sundry was like downtown,
Ridiculous.
and then they had lots of other like like the Assassin's Creed parkour and all that stuff. And yeah, there were even more stuff that I didn't hear about.
Yeah, a lot of people, when I see numbers for Comic-Con, they say like, 175,000 or whatever like the cap is for the thing. But I'm like, no. You have to look outside. Yeah, there's easily double that. There's easily 400,000 to 500,000 people there. There's no way there's not.
Easily. And especially if you count by day.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at the traffic. Just try to cross
Well,
that
the
bridge.
175,000 is attendee cap.
Right.
That doesn't include staff,
Or it's
exhibitors.
like 150,
Exactly.
170,
Exactly.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the cap is, but it's something like that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the biggest, say, I want kind of like a con, nerdy con, outside of, SDCC, is actually JX, and it started in France back in 1999, and it's been going on now. Their numbers, I think, are like about 235,000. So they're really good about operating, from what I've heard. I've never been to one in France, but I've seen a lot of pictures, and people are always happy. And it's not only like just anime or manga, but they also have like actually Japanese cultural arts. So they do, they introduce calligraphy, with kanji and even like just basic strokes, hiragana, katakana. They have a lot of the traditional dancing that it's not as mainstream that people have seen. It's not just like obon or whatever. They have actual artists that they fly in from Japan, and then of course you have the cosplay, you have the video games, you have everything else, all the new cultural stuff. But I was actually excited about it. I heard it last year. I was kind of bummed because, well, a few of my friends went,
Well, so they have one now here. They have now one here in the Bay Area.
Yes, so they had one last year in Santa Clara, and supposedly they tried to replicate what they were doing in France, but in a smaller space, and it didn't really work out, and it wasn't as exciting. I think their numbers was about like 5,500.
Well, one of the biggest complaints last year, which they did change before they opened, but I remember this being a huge deal, was a no in and outs policy. That you couldn't leave the convention once you got there, and that included like leaving for food, leaving for like simply to go back to a hotel room or something like that, which is like that's unheard of at a convention in the Bay in the U.S.
I mean, Fanime, what they get like how many people these days? Like
120, no, just short of 100.
It's huge though. Like I remember when it was maybe like 35 or something, like maybe 7 years ago, or like
I don't know if they have estimated numbers for this year.
Anyways.
So what was it this year?
So this year, the official number is not out there yet, but I was talking with Sarah, one of the PR chicks, and she was awesome. What's up, props? Good job on working the show, Sarah. She was like everywhere. She said it was close to double, so that would put it at about like 12,000 or so, which is still good. The thing that I was excited about was the actual location, because everything I read about Japan Expo is like it's kind of more like a matsuri, like a festival, Japanese festival, which is outdoor, indoor. And it's also, I think, location of Maker's Fair. Is that one of the...
Is that the same place?
I think so.
Is that the San Mateo
Fairground?
Yeah. So I was like, cool. And then I checked out the map. I was looking at everything. But I was just blown away with the amount of talent that they had there. They had like Daigo Ikeno, who's like one of the dopest like artists out there, and he's fairly young still. Did Street Fighter, I think, was it Third Strike? Is that right? You probably know this. He did a bunch of Onimusha too. Onimusha was just still one of my favorite video games. I know I'm aging myself by saying that. Tons of hardcore video game legends or manga legends. I think one of the original artists of Appleseed was there. I forget his name. Akihiro Kanayama was there, who's one of the primary composers for Silent Hill, which obviously Silent Hill is a big deal. Silent Hills is a big deal right now. We should actually.
Did you play that?
Oh my gosh!
I haven't played it yet.
It is so cool.
Did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
We should talk. That is newsworthy. That is newsworthy. I know you want to probably talk about a Geekbox, whatever.
They talked about it on the Geekbox.
Yeah. So one of my favorite Japanese hip hop artists from Japan, Hiro McRae, was there. She was best known for, I think, We Are Heroes from ABDC. They were like one of the first America's Best Dance Crew, one of the first like girl dance crews that won or whatever. But she's super sick, and she has a crew called Hiro Hiroka, I think, and they performed. I couldn't see them because I was just running around watching everything. So they had a showroom. They had a big showroom like any of the places do. Got to see my homeboy Herb from Comic Central in San Francisco. There's your little plug, buddy. And then just a crap load of other things out there. But the funny thing about it is just really the old to new, which is so basic and so accepted in Japanese culture. It's not weird that you have like all this these little like laser etched shot glasses with Gryffindor and all these other random ass anime characters that I don't know the hell they are because I'm hell old. And then it's right next to like this beautiful like calligraphy art and stuff on the other side. I was just like, okay, this is nuts, but I love it. It's Japanese. That's the way the Japanese do. I got to actually sit down and have a little interview with Miss Habit. Amy Lynn, one of my favorite cosplayers out there. Super laid back, super cool. She's from Arizona. She came dressed as Rose from Marvel vs. SNK, and she came dressed as shit.
Shit? She came as a pile of shit? Dude, my only question is, was she steaming?
No. It was this character, and only because I can't think about it right now. It's this character from super fucking popular animation, whatever. I'm going to stop talking. Just you didn't hear anything. Daigo Keno was probably one of the highlights for me. He went through the history of art styles and changes all throughout Street Fighter. Went through like I don't know how many years, and he was showing all the different artists and showing how they changed the different style based on the gameplay, showing more kind of kinetic look in certain characters like Vega and us and what's it? Who's an Indian dude? It's a Bollywood dude. from Street Fighter.
Dhalsim?
Dhalsim. There you go. Dhalsim. I almost said. I
I
almost.
know it started with a D.
I almost called him Saget, but but instead of a Saget, I almost called him a beep. Hey, buddy.
They're talking about like the Tommy Hawk guy. What the hell's his name? You said Indian. I was like, Indian? No, sorry.
Oh, the Native American? You mean?
Yeah. sorry. The hell's that guy's name? T-Hawk?
T-Hawk.
Yeah, T-Hawk.
Yeah, T-Hawk.
No.
Anyways, they had everything. They had like 2 huge-ass screening rooms. This is the problem, though. I think that there probably wasn't enough marketing. They didn't spend money
I had
there.
no idea it was this weekend.
No, a lot of people that are super fucking hardcore nerds they're like, huh? What are you doing? Huh? Like, I didn't know. And a lot of people had other things going on.
And school started, too. That's going to cut into their audience.
Yeah. But man, I had a great time Friday because I felt like I was just walking around and just could do anything I want. I was just like chilling with
Open a pool of small children.
No, I didn't do that. But I was chilling with Philippe Smith, who's super cool ass dude that's doing Ghost Rider right now, doing it well, lowrider style. Even though it's probably gonna die soon, but sorry, bro. Sorry. I still think you're a cool guy. We were checking out. There's like tons of Japanese artists that like were flown out, and they're actually good. One of them, A for real. Like I'm so out of touch with a lot of Japanese like popular culture, but they were sick. Just one dude on the drums, one girl on a keyboard, and she's just like riffing and freestyling. And
well, it's funny because at AX and like Fanime, I know the musical guests from Japan always get a ton of attention, but the actual artists, the people that do the manga or the anime, fucking no one has any idea who they are. Did that kind of same thing happen there, or
this is the problem with that location? So the Matsuri part was beautiful because it was outdoor, it was beautiful weather. There was a shitload of food trucks. Was it Lava or whatever? Fuck, I forget. But your okonomiyaki was off the hook. Okonomiyaki is like a Japanese little pancake. It's bomb. Spread all the shit on seafood. Just eat it up. It's delicious. Wait, where was I? I just lost my train of thought.
About food
the problem
or something sexual.
The problem is there's no panel rooms.
Yeah.
And that's what you lose when you take it out of a hotel, because they were trying to have panels at the same time as a fucking Aikido or Kendo or judo fucking demonstration. And the only thing you hear during a panel, you have incredible legendary artists like and you know talking about things and going through and speaking in Japanese with the translator, and then you hear on the back you just say this like you just actually okay, it's cool when it's a Capcom shit like Daigo Kano, and then you have some chick sound like Chun-Li in the background. That's cool. But for the most part it doesn't match. So that was I think one of the big issues. Also because it was such a huge space, and again, with only a certain amount of people every day, it feels like it's kind of a ghost town.
Yeah.
But I have faith in JX. I have faith in them delivering because they've been doing it for such a long time. Again, 14 years under the belt. They just got to figure out, I think, the local marketing and a little better, and maybe how to just find the right space to make it work. So.
Well, the question is always going to come down to how big is the Artist Alley room, because if it's not 9/10 of the convention, apparently no one cares. That's modern day anime cons, seemingly.
Yeah, no, it was nowhere near. They maybe had. I mean, the Artist Alley was, for the most part, almost non-existent.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was mostly.
That is half of Fanime, right? I mean, at this point, Artist Alley is such a huge part
Japan
of it.
Expo has this weird. There was a lot of controversy last year with all the artists because they had a weird contract system because it was based on the European contracts. So there was a thing about like, oh, if you're an artist, you can only sell. If you're a pro or if you're an amateur artist, you can only have like 5 of any item. If you have more than 5 of any item, you're considered a amateur or a pro. And the pro, there was like a $200 difference between the pro and the amateur. And so there were a lot of complaints on the tables last year, so nobody wanted to buy them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that happened again this year or not.
Well, maybe so, if in fact there wasn't many artists that I saw there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't even think of the area for like amateur art and whatnot. So
Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I would have no problem going if I had even heard of it. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I
exactly.
knew about it last year because of all the weird kind of controversies around it, and this year I never even knew what was going on. So, Brock,
Yes.
Talk about some a book you recommended we all read.
Like a month
we all
or 2
read
months
like
ago?
2 months ago. Yeah. We've been slacking on our book club because I've been off for surgery. We had Comic Con, been a bunch of stuff going. So, but we are back with our Comic Con pick.
Yes.
And we're lucky Lane and Kevin are here. Otherwise, no one in this podcast would have actually read it other than you. And I feel terrible, Brock. Wait, did you didn't read it right yet, Omar? No,
I
that's
didn't know I
fine.
was going to be here. I
Okay.
left work at 5:30.
That's fine. That's fine. So
San Francisco.
I've not had a chance to read it yet, but I will. We'll talk about it probably next week. And I know Toby and Charlie want to talk about it as well. So when they're back, but you and why don't you, Lane and Kevin, kind of give your review of Dead Body Road Volume 1 from Image Comics. That was your pick of the month.
Yeah. So, the Dead Body Road's by Justin Jordan with art by Matteo Scalera, right? And I first got kind of introduced to this as it was an Image #1. Kind of had that big, bold, just kind of font. Took up the whole cover of the book, and I was like, I'll check it out. So I've read the first issue, and I enjoyed it. So I kept reading, and then they released a trade. So I was like, okay, and that's why I recommended it because I really enjoyed it. But Matteo Scalera does an amazing job with within the book giving action and just gore when something like somebody dies in a very horrific manner. I'll let Kevin tell you what manner that is because he really enjoyed that part. Especially there's like just the way the book unfolds is really well done. I mean, just the pacing of the book, the action sequences that take place. I mean, there's a couple of times where there's a car, like there's a big car chase at one point, and just the pacing and the way Scalera just laid out the panels and did it. It flowed very, very well. And Lane, you can attest, like something like a car chase in a comic book is difficult to do well. So I know Justin Jordan wrote, was it Luther Strode?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I never read it.
It was okay.
He's doing Spread currently, which has been okay. I've enjoyed that one. But, I picked Dead Body Road because I was like, it's a nice little kind of self-contained, one-volume kind of thing. But I really dug it along the way. Great art, great action. Just, story was. It's not anything that grandiose or great. It's a heist story, but it was done, well enough that I was like, this is good. So. Lane, your 2 cents.
What about your score?
Oh, should I give my score first or last?
Yeah, no, first. That's fine. Actually, technically, we should have started with Lane, but it's close enough. It's close enough.
I would give it. 9 out of 10 Brocks. It's good.
I need to read that shit.
Yeah, for me, I guess I was introduced because, if I'm not mistaken, Justin Jordan was the writer on the Team 7 book.
Yeah.
For the New 52, and I'm a huge Wildstorm fan, so I had to buy that. And then I was reading an interview with him when the book got canceled, and he had mentioned that he wanted to try out some noir stuff, and then he mentioned Dead Body Road. So that immediately, I love noir stuff, and then he mentioned, and it reads like a Parker novel, and that was just perfect for me, especially since he said it was a miniseries, not an ongoing. Yeah. So that got me also, and so as soon as the first one came out, I picked it up, loved it. There's a little few things I think, if anything, the first issue was a little odd because I think Scalera's art is great, but there's a couple of the characters look a little bit too similar, and I think there was a mess up in the coloring, so I mixed up 2 characters in the first issue. But after that, it was fine. Yeah. The art's amazing otherwise, and the writing's amazing. It's just straight up noir fun. You could easily see this being a quick, fun movie, like an action romp.
Does it have the feel that sometimes a few too many Image books do of movie pitch made into comic to then pitch as a movie? That's always my concern with these things.
I don't know. It definitely can be a movie. I don't know if it feels like it was made specifically to be a movie.
Yeah, if anything, it falls under the vein of with like Faster.
Yeah, it feels a lot like Faster.
But again, it's. It can be made in a movie, whether or not... I think Justin Jordan probably just was like, I want to write a comic book for Image because I don't want to write a comic book for one of the big guys, and so this is what I'm going to do. And, somebody could pick it up and make it a movie, but, it'd be one of those action movies that came out in the middle of the year that had some big actor in it that, just people go to watch an action movie. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you read all his excerpts at the end of each of the issues, it really came out as it was more of I want to write a noir novel. I want to see how close I can get to writing a Parker novel. Yeah. So it's all more experiments on his side.
Yeah. I mean, the letters about the car chase really stood out when I read those ones. So
yeah, I mean, I'd give it 9 out of 10 as well.
Cool. Kevin, tell us a little bit about this book.
Yeah, so I came in here yesterday, and Charlie was here, and I asked him because I forgot what the book was.
Everyone apparently forgot. It's okay.
So you had a copy, so I picked it up and bought it, and I was like, okay. I looked through it, and he told me it was like action oriented. I'm like, all right, cool. So I got back to my hotel room, and then I read it this morning, and it took me about hour and a half maybe, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't know about the ending very much because the ending seemed a little bit weird to me, but overall, I think it's very entertaining. I mean, you mentioned Brock, you mentioned Faster, which is the Rock movie, because it had a very similar tone to that. Kind of like Kill Bill and Desperado and that revenge type of story. Yeah. So actually, and like when I read it, and the art was really good, especially that car scene and that car kill part.
Tell him. You can tell him. It's all right. You can be as graphic as you want about it.
Well, someone gets run over, and it's very graphic and very well done. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. The ending was a little weird for me, but I do like it, so I'll give it a 7 out of 10 Brocks.
I believe this is going to be more, right? It's not over, right? Isn't there going to be another volume? Are they doing?
He hasn't said anything about it.
Oh, okay.
I
think Image is just putting volume numbers on it so people can, one? Okay, I'll pick this up.
Yeah, because I was trying to look it up. I'm like, is there going to be more of this? And it said mini-series on the thing. So I'm like, okay.
I mean, it could definitely, Dead Body Road could definitely be something where, I mean, that's just kind of the title for something that's themed kind of like this. So, it's definitely something where you don't necessarily need to follow the same characters.
You could,
but I mean, the girl's still there, but you don't have to. It could be something that's, completely different set of characters, but it's titled Dead Body Road Volume 2 or Dead Body Road like something else.
Kind of like True Detective and American Horror Story.
Yeah.
Just like
Can I just give you a pound for bringing up True Detective? Because obviously you're a man of good taste.
No spoilers. It's next to my list. We just finished Fargo, which was fucking incredible.
Wasn't it so good?
Fargo
and guess
so
what?
good.
It just won the series, I think, for the best limited series.
Oh, nice.
I think.
Nice.
I think it was announced on
True
EW.
Detective is next. No spoilers, please. I know it's weird, but
I didn't finish the first episode. Sorry,
it's not weird at all, bro. That you're fucking 8 months behind.
I wait till it's done. Then I just burn through them.
I haven't had time to watch. So
I haven't seen it because I haven't seen the movie, but
totally different. You don't nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah, well, it's actually better than the movie.
Well, the movie's
good.
Yeah, the movie's on Netflix. At least I think it still is. So I kind of want to watch the movie, but
the fact, just everything about the story, especially after you watch it, I went back and watched the movie afterwards, and I was like, damn, yeah. The character development, just the placement, the positioning of all the cameras, man, everything was just way beyond. So, and it's cool that they were still involved in it, in some way.
Yeah, I'm gonna set up FX now, and I'll probably watch it on FX now. So, because besides The Simpsons are gonna be on FX now, so I can't wait. I've been watching that marathon.
A lot of us can't wait.
We've got 200 episodes on our TiVo so far. TiVo's going to be it's burning the midnight oil.
It's going to blow up, dude.
No, it's going to make it. I'll end up about 50% full by the time it's done, but it's
yeah, because I like a lot of the FX shows, like Sons of Anarchy, and they're on their last season, so.
Yeah, the season 6 comes out on DVD tomorrow, which I don't get paid till Friday, so I'll have to pick it up this weekend.
Omar, you have a book club pick you want to choose for this upcoming month?
You had
a couple, but I think maybe you've changed your pick.
No, I did change my pick because I think last time I picked a DC book and I picked one of those sexy girl books
Gotham
that nobody
City
likes.
Siren.
That nobody likes, especially the girls, even though it's like an incredible
Very
book.
sexualized,
Yeah, as a highly sexualized artist, but as
it needs a Milo Manera cover.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we need. So I decided to pick a real manly cover by a really manly guy.
So you go opposite.
Barry Windsor Smith.
Man.
So what I expect is all of those boy comic book websites to say, "Oh my gosh, Omar picked Barry Windsor Smith, and he's naked in every single panel." Girls, were you complaining about that now?
This
is for you.
If you want to see a lot of Wolverine ass, Weapon X. Is your Wolverine ass.
Okay, for the most part, I almost think he's a eunuch because I see every single part. I see every single part of his body with no clothes on except for his dingling. So Barry Windsor Smith was just like so beyond. I mean, you could see.
Well, here's the thing: if this was published in Europe, there'd be Wolverine Wang flapping everywhere.
Guaranteed,
right?
It would be all up in your face. That would be the first thing. It wouldn't be Snick. It would be Splash.
Yeah,
Watchman's blue dick.
So,
an adamantium claw coming out of that tip.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not even. Barry Windsor Smith doesn't even try to hide how much of an influence Mobius has on him.
Oh yeah, I think the colorist had, or the inker had to hide the Wolverine Wang in this.
Did he do that a few times? I think I read that before.
I think he did.
Yeah, but I mean, Richard Isanove. I'm probably not saying his name right.
He's been working a long time.
Long time. An incredible colorist. I mean, this is the thing. This is an art. This book, if you look through it and you look at the sequential art and the storytelling, first of all, there's no. This is like one of the first. This is a time where non-superhero books were kind of popular, right? This is 91.
This is like very late 80s, very early 90s. Yeah.
So, I mean, and Wolverine was the big leaders of it. And this is the thing that I love most about this book. And I'm not going to give away too much more about it. I don't have this long page written out. This dissertation.
Talked about the penis that's being covered up. So I think we've given away.
But no. The biggest thing is I think this is how you do an origin story. You don't need to fucking say everything. You don't need to give them a name.
Yeah.
Just put some cool ass characters in there. Yeah. Make the Alpha Flight relevant somehow.
So Wolverine Weapon X is the book.
Barry Windsor Smith.
Perfect timing because he's getting killed next month.
Yeah,
there you go.
Although the only problem I have with that is that when it was published in an anthology.
It was a Marvel Comics Presents.
Marvel Comics.
Yeah. So it was a lot of.
So you had to wade through the other stories.
There was a Firestar miniseries in there somewhere.
There was a Darkhawk one too.
Darkhawk was way later, man. Like
was
in the
it?
150s. Yeah. For Marvel Comics Presents. Yeah, I have all those. I got all that shit, man. We got a bunch of Twitter questions here, so I'm going to burn through a few of these. There's some really good questions.
We finally got that comic book club selection done.
Cross-X Hunter, always posting on here, always posting on the forums.
What's up, buddy?
Asks, how many of today's issues is it possible to do in one book binding? I think you could fit 30 pretty easily in like
today's comics?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could, 30 I think is a safe bet. 35 is probably your cap.
That's going to be, even with modern stuff, that's going to be a big book. But yeah, I don't think you want anything more than that.
If you're cutting out like the last few bullshit pages, 35. Because I know that at least for Rebels, when I did Rebels, I got 29 issues.
Yeah,
was the total. Because it was an annual.
I have like a 90s Teen Titan comic coming back with like 32 issues. So I'll be curious how big that is.
Does that include keeping the covers in it too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He also wants to know, for everyone at the table, why have we not watched Avatar: The Last Airbender? And Toby and Charlie, who are not here, what did they think of Season 3? We'll get to their part of that next week. It's on my list of stuff to watch, along with 10,000 other things. So I've heard it's great. I just haven't seen it.
I've watched everything but Season 3.
Okay. So, but you've seen it. Omar, Avatar feels like totally up your alley.
No, and I have enjoyed the episodes that I've watched. But for me, like I really like to start from the beginning.
Yeah,
and a lot of them are out there. So I've been recording them as I have been for was it Kill la Kill and Attack on Titan.
I get it.
So,
yeah, those are my key too.
But every time I watch them after my shows, like I have an order, just like my comic books. Eventually, it becomes 11 o'clock, and it's like Cinemax After Dark. What am I going to choose?
Avatar After Dark.
Avatar After Dark. I can take a little
He also asks, how goes the beard? And it is going okay. So I'm trying to keep it like hipster San Francisco douchebag kind of thin. I don't want it to get big, bushy, Hick Brock style. Like I need to trim it a bit more. I trimmed it a few days ago. So
if you want to really be hipster, what you do is you shave all the sides of your head.
Oh, right, just the beard and nothing up here.
And just
right?
just the top, the top part, like something to flip.
Yeah. Oh, right, shave the side, but the floppy top.
Don't
right.
I want to walk in every day and punch you in the face.
That would be a cool sight to see.
Let's see. We got a few other questions.
You told people there's a bunch of Twitter questions.
There's a lot here. Mitchell Brooks,
Hey,
good friend,
Mitchell!
wants to know if we think Evangeline Lilly is good as the Wasp or not, and who would be cast. And I'm always terrible at these things because I don't know who I'd cast. I have no idea. I never know anyone. She's fine. I like her as an actress. She's not really the Wasp. She's playing like the Wasp's daughter or something weird, but she's going to be the Wasp, so yeah, that's fine.
This is on, what is this on? Agents of...
No, it's from Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man, oh, okay.
They're skipping Wanda and they're skipping Hank Pym so they don't have to do the scene where Hank beats up Wanda. That's 100% why they're doing it, because it's from the comics and people can't get over that scene. Like, I just want that scene to never... I wish it never happened because it completely ruined Hank Pym as a character. Similar to like Speedball and Civil War and Penance and all that stuff. It's everyone keeps bringing that back up.
People don't care about Speedball.
But with Hank Pym, people keep going back to that, and
Hey, he was a wife beater, man.
Yeah. Eduardo wants Toby to talk more about manga during the show. I know Toby's is back on manga as he is on regular comics.
So why even read this out loud?
But he wants to know about Toby's thought on 20th Century Boys. And I don't know if Toby's read it. I've seen the movies, and I love the movies. I need to read the comics, though.
That's on my list, too.
Yeah. I have the... they've started to just do... one of his earlier books, Monster. Viz has started to reissue Monster, and that's another one that I really need to read. Because, yeah.
Chloe Grace Moretz. She could be that Wasp girl.
Okay. I don't know who she is. She's someone good.
Kick-ass girl.
Oh, okay. If they want to go, like, real young. Yeah.
That's young.
But she's young. She's like the daughter, right? She's the daughter of... Or she's supposed to be the same...
She's supposed to be the same age as Ant-Man, like new Ant-Man?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, she would be teamed up with Paul Rudd. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul Rudd is like 50.
But he doesn't age for at all.
Larry.
All right, Saget.
Larry over at Larry's Comics.
Unlike you.
You fucking Saget.
Larry over at Larry's Comics. My good buddy back east. He wants to know how well did Multiversity sell? And it sold about what I expected it to. It sold pretty good for number one. I mean...
It's good that the online companion's free.
50 copies used to be 100 copies, which used to be 200 copies. So, like, obviously the high bar is dropped dramatically from, like, the heights of the early 2000s of, something, Civil War or, Identity Crisis or Infinite Crisis, kind of our big numbers. But, I mean, for what it is, it's selling pretty decent. I had at least one customer ask me if he thought I would like the book. I asked him if he liked Grant Morrison. He said no. I asked him if he liked Final Crisis, which is pretty much a direct sequel to. He said no, and I said, "Well, then no, you will not like this book." But I actually think I actually want to talk more about Multiversity next week when I think we have a little more time.
So I got to read it.
But I think Multiversity
It's on my list. See, now I got to say it's on my list.
Yeah, we all have now. Despite how maybe seemingly confusing it is just from reading the first issue, it actually is a way simpler plot than most Morrison books. It's actually really straightforward. I did have a question later about someone asking where they can get an explanation for what's going on in Multiversity. And I'll give you a very quick non-spoiler version of what happens in the first issue right now. It's about a group of superheroes from alternate realities teaming up to take down a villain. That is what the issue is. It's really straightforward. It's just presented through Morrison's bizarre ass.
I wasn't here last week.
Yeah, you got to get some Multiversity.
Perfect.
It's good stuff. I got a couple. I got a thing here from Dennis. It's kind of a 3-part question, or no, one question, 3 tweets.
That was.
But he says, "So heading to Dragon Con this weekend, and thanks to you guys, I've been hugely converted to the Arrow fandom."
Yes.
Hey, don't bulk me in that shit.
Do we have another Arrow?
What's that guy's
lover
name
over
again?
here? Dennis.
Hey, fuck you, Dennis.
Omar loves
Kevin.
Arrow.
Arrow. Yeah.
Yeah, I watch Arrow.
Yeah. All right, there we go.
Put your fist out. Let me just take that pound back. Just took that pound back from you, Kevin.
He says, as a cosplayer, I've invested in some things that I've since picked up as hobbies, like whip cracking after Indiana Jones, doing archery when I made my Ollie costume. Outside of collecting, has the fandom gotten you interested in new hobbies? And that's actually a good question. Man.
I mean, I took archery as PE credit and, JC.
Just sitting on my ass playing video games, is that a hobby? Sitting on your ass? I mean, I don't, not really.
You got some serious finger
No,
dexterity,
actually,
don't you, though?
No.
Hey!
It actually works because the New Warriors just seem to hang out, eat pizza, and talk about the good times.
Yeah, well, really, comics got me to buy a comic store. Like, it's not a hobby, right? But, that is the biggest thing that it made me do. But I haven't really...
Every day you say, why do I do this shit? I fucking hate comics.
I have a couple model kits I keep telling myself I want to try to put together, but I am just... I'm the fucking worst.
Are they Gundam?
Yeah, of course they're Gundam. What else would they be?
Is that what's sitting in the back right now?
No, they're at my house. But I can't think of anything. Like, I'm sure Toby's going to say like movies got him to want to film. Like that totally. I'll answer for Toby. But
does selling on shit on eBay count as a hobby?
It's more of a job now.
Omar, I mean, your comic reading has got you into like HeroClix and toy collecting and kind of other hobbies. Like you're not a gamer.
Well, I used to be. I told you. I was never really no. I was into RPGs, but I was never a gamer. I was into RPGs and I was into NBA Live, sports action simulators, which I'm so sad it's gone now.
Well,
but I still play. I play on the fact is though, I play on the court where the motion cap was happening. What you want, son?
HeroClix feels like something so out of your wheelhouse, like pre 2010, 11 Omar.
Well,
right?
cosplay too was so out of my wheelhouse, like 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
But I jumped in that shit, and
just because you like wearing a stormtrooper.
Well, Stormtrooper costume, let me just tell you, is the most worn costume for the most part, so you can get away with the most shit.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
Because no one knows who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're just another drunk stormtrooper that's too tall for his britches.
Yes, that's why I'll never be a part of the 501st.
Jaden's got a
Do they
couple
have a height
questions here.
requirement?
No.
Yeah.
They would make me probably a Vader, though.
Jaden's got a couple questions here. Oh, actually, Dennis says he brought up Dragon Con because a bunch of the cast from Arrow is going to be there. So if you get a picture with them in your Arrow costume, that'd be sweet. Send it over. I want to see it. Jaden asked a couple questions, but got one or two more here, and then we'll wrap up. But he says,
is this Jaden or Dennis?
This is Jaden.
Okay.
He says, how would you try to get readers to actually buy a Carol Danvers Marvel comic? Marvel can't seem to be able to, as I did note earlier this week that Miss Marvel is our lowest selling ongoing Marvel comic. Captain Marvel.
Even more so than not Miss Marvel. Ms. Marvel. Little Muzzle Marvel is killing it, right?
It does okay.
Little Burka Marvel
does okay.
Wait, we're supposed to try and sell it to people?
No, I mean, like, what would cause... Omar's like 4 beers in, so it's fine. What would cause... what could Marvel do to get Captain Marvel comic to sell better? And...
Make it Captain Marvel?
I think it's just... I think she's an interesting character in the Avengers, but there's a lot of characters that can't hold their own series. I mean... Marvel's publishing about 12 of them right now, I mean, an Ant-Man movie is not going to make an Ant-Man comic sell at all.
I think
no one will care.
I think that something like Captain Marvel might be something best suited for not staying on Earth. Like, if this is a Captain Marvel...
But they've done that. They've done that, too. I really believe that Black Widow... and. Man, I'm going to name way too many female characters here. But the problem is...
Right. We've already sexed them up enough as it is.
Here's the problem, is that for comics, the original characters are almost all male. The female characters are almost all like secondary characters in the main series. It's not necessarily a sexist thing, I don't think, because there are plenty of female comics that do well. I think Catwoman historically does pretty well. Marvel has just never had success with a lot of their female-fronted books. I mean, the new Miss Marvel book is clearly more successful than a lot, but it's not a top 10 seller or anything like that. I mean, I think Captain Marvel is a great character. I love Carol Danvers. She's awesome. I just don't think the ongoing book has ever really clicked, because I think she's a character that started... Well, I mean, she technically started with her own title, but that book I don't think was successful at the time either.
Well, wasn't it Miss Marvel?
Well, she was Miss Marvel, right? And then they brought her in to the Avengers, and I think that's where she really shined. I don't think her original series was very popular either. Well, She-Hulk wasn't a very popular series when it came out either. So, I mean, they've had good takes on some of these characters that started out as kind of secondary characters and not their main launch titles from the 60s.
Well, I think a big part of it is also like the creative team you have behind it. I mean, like, if you look at, like you mentioned Catwoman and stuff like that.
But you put Veronica Bendis and on a Spider-Woman book, and it still sells horribly.
No,
like,
no, it has to be the right blend. Like Gail Simone's Batgirl's been amazing, right?
Yeah.
You look at Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmio's Harley Quinn. It's crazy. It's not necessarily the best, but I mean, it's Harley Quinn.
Harley has hit. DC has been universally better than Marvel with their female-led books. Just whether sometimes sales-wise, sometimes critically.
Yeah.
But Marvel has always struggled with their female-led books, and I don't know what causes it.
And I think the thing is like if you look at Catwoman, I mean, they kind of keep the premise of who Catwoman is. So she's doing Catwoman things. Harley, she's doing Harley things. Like Batgirl, she's being Barbara Gordon, Oracle, whoever the fuck she is at the time. But whereas like Miss Marvel, what does she do? Like the new She-Hulk, right? Isn't I'm not a big fan of the art, on it, but the title, she's doing stuff that as a lawyer and as a superhero, so it works a lot better.
I think She-Hulk has probably been Marvel's most critical and sales successful female character to have her own title. She was very popular during John Byrne stuff in the 90s.
Yeah.
Critical success in the aughts and the 2010s with the Dan Slott series and now this series. So she's been I think a character that can hold her own. Captain Marvel, I'm just trying to think, that's
the thing is
she's a great character, but yeah, I mean, maybe they just haven't.
What does she do when she's not Miss Marvel?
Oh, Carol Danvers has. I mean, she was former military, so there's that aspect of it. What do any of these people have for day jobs unless they're working at the Daily Planet, right?
Most of them. She's a lawyer.
Yeah, but that's in her secret identity as well. So
yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like,
or her hero identity as well.
Yeah, but that's the thing is you're kind of doing Miss Marvel. What does she do? I think that's kind of the disconnect. Is like if you ask me what does Carol Danvers do, people are going to be like, huh? But because they know her as Miss Marvel, they don't know anything about.
Yeah, I mean,
like Carol Danvers.
I mean, I haven't
normally
read.
You have to kind of have a balance, at least with the secret identity, or at least a combination, like with She-Hulk, where it's kind of meshed.
I mean, I've tried. I'll try just about any number one. This volume and the previous volume, I did not continue to read. They did not work for me. But I read the entire previous volume, which was, I don't remember who started it, but I want to say Brian Reed did a big chunk of it. I don't see his name that often. I like that guy.
Wasn't that like 30-some-odd issues?
50, 60 maybe? 50? Yeah, I mean, that ran for quite a while. And that was, like, at the time, I mean, the only real Marvel ongoing female-led book. And I thought that was a pretty decent title. I don't know. I mean, most of these books, the characters are always in their superhero identity. But yeah, I mean, Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers, her non-heroic persona is probably not as strong as some of the others. But I mean, I think they tried. I mean, with the military background, they really expanded that out. I don't know what they've done in the current series. I haven't read it. But I mean, yeah, it's tough. You got to find villains that work, and I think you have to find a writer that really clicks. And Kelly Sue DeConnick, for whatever reason, I just don't think the book clicks with a very passionate, very loyal, very vocal audience, but it doesn't connect to general comic readers. And
what I'm hoping for is that we see a lot more of the Kree fleshed out with the Inhumans movie that will eventually come out. So
sure.
I'm stoked for that, and if that happens, then obviously we'll see a little bit of, Miss Marvel becoming more like Carol. That would be an awesome book if it was just a book just called Carol. I'm just Carol. And then
Carol.
They put her in with the Guardians.
Marvel.
They put her in the Guardians, but as far as I know, they haven't done anything.
No, she doesn't even get the keyword in the HeroClix, bro. Come on.
She literally popped up in the last issue and was like, "Star-Lord, you need my help?" He's like, "Not really, but you can tag along for the ride."
Yeah. I want to see Dr. Minerva. I want to see some of those other fools, like those Kree people. I love what they did with Ronan, and I want to see more.
Here's actually this is how you do it. You get a full-on, new Marvel space line, and you have Nova and Miss Marvel and the Guardians, right? And there is your.
Don't you just love how he dropped in
and there's
another new Warriors character?
Well, it's Nova. I mean, Guardians and Nova.
Is it Sam Alexander?
No.
The thing is,
don't be ridiculous.
The female Quasar did exceedingly well in at least the space stuff that Dan Abbott and Andy Lanning were writing.
But they'll never have another ongoing Quasar comic. It'll never happen.
I know, but the thing is like that character, like...
I mean, I'd buy it.
I know.
But that's it, right?
But that's the thing is like, I mean, we got a good chunk of of that stuff. But like I distinctly remember reading that stuff, going, I would read a female Quasar book.
She was cool.
If it's
She was cool.
Abbott and Lanning
Yep.
are on the reins of it, because one, it got to backstory on the character.
Well, I believe
we
Dan Abnett
connected to her.
is writing the Guardians 3000 series. They're not a writing pair anymore, so I believe Dan Abnett is. So hopefully, we're getting this slight expansion of the space Marvel stuff, and I think Captain Marvel's Carol Danvers is a perfect character to throw into that if you want to take her off the Avengers, get her out of that world and put her in the space world, because I think you need to do the Negabands. You need to get in there with the Kree. You need to get in there with Supreme Intelligence. You need to go. It just may be counter to Marvel's attempt, but if their attempt is to lure a lot of these Carol Core, the female reader base for Captain Marvel, I think that's great. But I think you're going to have a hard time having a major sell, because this character is such a minor character in the Marvel universe.
Well, honestly,
overall.
she needs to pick a goddamn hairstyle.
Well,
Will Angela get her own series then? Get Neil Gaiman to write it.
I mean, yeah, sure. If they did that, that'd be amazing. I'd be the first person in line to buy it.
This little sneaky motherfucker. This guy is so cunning. He's like Angela, and then Ryan's all like, Neil Gaiman. And Ryan immediately he's like, oh yes, whatever you say.
Yeah, well, sure, of course. If Neil Gaiman buys it, I'll buy anything.
Give him the ice bucket.
Oh, I don't have that Neil
Yeah,
Gaiman. I don't
exactly.
have any. I don't have that Neil Gaiman Spawn issue. I don't have any of that shit. Don't worry. So it's fine.
You will though, and you would if you wanted
day.
it.
No, you know
One day.
why he doesn't have it? It's because we have plenty of copies in
Dig
the
him on a
store.
quarter
It's like, if I
cents.
really want, I could take it whenever I want.
I don't own everything Neil Gaiman does. I've taken some breaks.
Hey Kevin, remember how we were talking about True Detective? Kerry Fukunaga, who's like a local Bay Area Hoppa dude, represent. He won Outstanding Director for the drama.
Oh, awesome!
True Detective.
Yeah, that was
Boom.
all right.
So, do we have any more questions?
Actually, I wanna add-
Another quick question or no?
Was Carol part of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
For a while, yeah,
She was, right?
Yeah. But they've they've replaced her with Hawkeye and Black Widow.
Yeah.
That's
well,
sort
no,
of-
I was thinking more along the lines. I wouldn't mind seeing something like Velvet.
Yeah, totally. But Black Widow.
One thing I'm excited about for now the series, they have announced that Mockingbird's going to obviously be part of the series, and if that's the case, the Hawkeye's going to show up.
Yeah.
That's fucking
Yeah,
sick.
yeah.
That is fucking sick, because
And
that's
you-
like real.
And you know who's playing Mockingbird, right? Adrian Palicki, Wonder Woman.
Dude,
So-
dude, of course, dude. Wonder Woman is finally going to fucking be on the small screen. I'm so excited. I miss Linda Carter. The old Linda Carter, not the now Linda Carter.
All right.
I like her soul now and her heart, but not her.
Thank you,
physically
everyone.
works.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to this podcast. Thank you.
Thank you for getting through all the sexualization and the con stuff.
Thank you. And Kevin, thank you for coming by. I hope it was worth. I hope it was better than your wildest dreams.
Good job, buddy.
of course.
All right.
He's going to download this and listen to it while he's going up to San Francisco. Going, oh my god!
We're going to pimp
Maybe.
some stuff.
Maybe on the flight home.
You can listen to this episode and all our previous episodes at geekbox.net and comicsconspiracy.biz. Go to forums
You
at
still listen on
geekbox.net.
Zune?
No, Zune doesn't exist anymore. Although
how I started.
Although we have a listener from Zune, so
That's how I
rocket.
started. That's how I was one of the 12 people that
Nice.
still had a Zune back in 2009.
Excellent.
Not anymore. I'm with Apple now.
Yeah,
but
of course. Forums at geekbox.net and the Geekbox Facebook group on Facebook, obviously, is where you can go talk to everyone that listens to this and the Geekbox and all our other podcasts. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz is where you can go buy some digital comics. Go buy through us. Go subscribe there. You never have to go back and visit the site. We get a nice little cut every time you buy through that site, so go check that out.
Sales on a constant basis.
Oh, yeah. Brock's got conspiratorbrock.com. Omar's got comicsintokind.com. Charlie's got the Infinite Long Box podcast and the Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast, his Doctor Who podcast. Go check those out. On Twitter, I'm Ryan Higgins Ryan. Brock is Brock Sager. Omar is Comics and Kind. Do you want to pimp? Do you got a Twitter to pimp? You got anything to pimp? You want to?
my Twitter is Shonen83 all one. but
Okay.
I really
Excellent.
Fucking otaku.
I really don't tweet that much. I usually just tweet at you guys or whoever.
Do you got a PayPal
You get, like,
account you
4
want people to
followers.
send you free money to or anything like
Wait,
that?
if we're
Or,
getting free
I mean-
money, they need mine.
I mean, do you want to give us your home address so people can come and visit you now?
No.
Okay. Don't forget to listen to the Geekbox, Comedy Button, Good Job Brain, and the All Talk podcasts. Those are all the other Geekbox podcasts. Go check those guys out. It's fun times, fun times. Thank you all for coming. Kevin, thank you. And we will catch you guys next
one more
week.
thing to pimp.
We got one more thing to pimp before.
You got to download
leave?
episode 85 of Heroes and Villains this week.
Oh, that's right.
It's out on Wednesday.
That's right. Is it coming out this week?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Okay. Heroes and Villains, good friends over there that they're week. I think it's still, is it weekly, bi-weekly? I think it's still.
He does about a
mostly,
weekly.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really good at planning stuff out. But
yeah. They did their episode on Geoforce. Brock's favorite character.
That's for you, bro.
And
your favorite new cover.
Nice. And okay. And Brock is on there talking about Geoforce. So yeah.
So
85. What'd you say?
Yeah, 85. I think
85.
is the episode. It should be up. He said it should be up Wednesday.
Okay.
So.
Go check that out. And that is it.